a case build-up. Intelligence work, they had a target, they had a search warrant, they had a warrant of arrest, they had what they consider a foolproof bypass operation, and they coordinated with the Ayala Alabang security people. But then what happened? Nung gumawa ng resolution ang prosecution task force ng Department of Justice, instead of a resolution recommending the filing of charges on the basis of probable cause against the Alabang boys, ano ang ginawa nila? Nag-file sila ng resolution recommending the dismissal. And one of the major grounds for that recommendation to dismiss was the finding, quote-unquote, of Attorney Rizado na wala raw bypass operation. Bakit na sinabing walang bypass? Dahil ayon sa kanyang kaalaman, iisa lamang ang nag-conduct ng bypass according to his finding, and he said that it was very improbable and very unlikely that anybody could plan a bypass with only one member. Doon kami nagtaka. The PIDEA became very upset. We became very upset in the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, headed by Congressman Roquito Ablan. Meron bang taga Ilocos Norte dito? Ilocos Norte. Sino mga taga Ilocos Norte dito? If you are from Ilocos Norte, I think you should be proud that you have a congressman by the name of Congressman Roque Ablan, because he's a very dedicated chairman of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs. Agad siyang nagpatawag ng committee hearing. Pinatawag namin yung DOJ, pinatawag namin ang PIDEA, at doon dinilig namin. Anong finding namin? According to the police or the security officers of the Ayala Alabang, there was coordination. They coordinated, PIDEA coordinated, presented themselves. There were at least 2 carloads of PIDEA agents. They presented a warrant of arrest, a search warrant specifying the name of the target. So hindi ito fishing expedition, kasi kung fishing expedition, walang pangalan, walang target. They coordinated. Kaya kami nagulat sa sinasabi ni Atty. Rizado na wala rin bypass kasi iisa lamang. But this was belied by the facts of the case as gathered by us in the Committee on Justice. Kaya ito nakakalungkot. And then when Major Marcelino came to us, naalala niyo si Major Marcelino, ito yung Marine Major who is detailed with the PIDEA and who was on top of this bypass operation. Nakakalungkot that when he appeared there in our committee, and Secretary of Justice Raul Gonzales was also there, instead of the Department of Justice helping the PIDEA, ano nangyari? Secretary Raul Gonzales even confronted, berated, and scolded Major Marcelino live on TV, witnessed by hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people. Kaya yun ang nakakalungkot. And that is the reason why, after that, after going over the case, sabi ko, I think it's because of what happened, dapat pag-aralan ni Secretary Gonzales yung nangyari, sapagkat an additional finding that we made in the Committee on Dangerous Drugs was that there was already a draft under Department Rule kasi, Department Order number 46. Every resolution to dismiss is subject to automatic review by the Secretary of Justice. Ano na pag-alaman namin? Meron na palang draft order doon sa opisina ng Secretary of Justice awaiting his signature. At alam niyo kung sino ang umamin na nag-draft nitong resolution nito to confirm the dismissal of the case. Alam niyo kung sino? Yung abogado ng Alabang Boys. Sa kinakita ng kanyang sitwasyon na mismong abogado ng mga akusado, ng mga respondents, ang siyang gumagawa ng draft order para ma-release ito mga akusado. And to me, that was even using the letterhead of the Department of Justice, dumaan sa maraming proseso, and somehow it landed on the desk of Secretary Gonzales. Nung malaman ko yan, I said, Mr. Secretary, I think the only honorable option for you is to submit your resignation because this is very embarrassing to the Department of Justice. Nakakahiya, di ba? Secretary of Justice ka, malulusutan ka ng abogado, ng mga akusado, at siya pa ang in the subsequent hearing. But then, another very interesting case came up because we found out also that on the very day that Prosecutor Rizado submitted his resolution to dismiss, biglang bilubas na meron pala siyang 800,000 peso deposited in his account on the same day. Well, hindi naman tayo suspitsoso, pero kayo, mga criminology students kayo, di ba? Kayo, anong gagawin niyo? Pag meron kayong isang taong pinaghihinalaan na isang opisyal ng gobyerno at sa inyong palagay ay mukhang niluto na yung kaso, pagkatapos in the very day na sinabi niya, cleared na ang mga akusado, biglang may nakita kayong napakalaking halaga doon sa kanyang bank account. Ano magiging conclusion ninyo?
Pinayaran.
Well, of course, you cannot make any conclusion, final conclusion, but it is going to sharpen your ears, di ba? Yung radar nyo, talagang tataalas yan. Talagang lalo kayo mag-iimbestiga. Tama? That calls for a deeper investigation. And that's exactly what we did in the Committee on Dangerous Drugs. Meron namang paliwanag si Prosecutor Rizado. Ang kanyang paliwanag, kaya po merong 800,000 pesos dyan sapagkat yan ang kinita namin doon sa, siya nagsabi ng salita, no? Bombay operation daw. Doon sa kabiling tandak, ibig sabihin pagpapautang niya, 800,000 pesos. Tanong ko, yan ba ni-report mo sa SEC? Sabi niya, underground economy, hindi ko po na-report. Yan ba inilagay mo sa statement of assets and liabilities? I think he answered that, I'm sorry that I cannot answer that question on the ground that it might incriminate me. In other words, he invoked his right to remain silent, which I respect, of course. But you know, it's very sad when a prosecutor invokes the right to remain silent. Kasi normally, sabi ko, yung ganyan, ginagawa lang yan ng mga member ng mafia, mga waiting lord, mga drug lord. But very sadly, hindi dapat ini-invoke yan ng mga member ng gobyerno, lalo na yung mga prosecutors. Kasi nakakasyak. The last time I heard someone invoke the right to remain silent was when I, as chairman of the Committee on National Defense, also oversaw the investigation of General Carlos Garcia. You remember General Garcia? Controller ng Armed Forces of the Philippines during that time. You know what happened to him because of the investigation? He is now in jail. You know what happened to his family? Nabalitaan nyo na sa pamilya niya. Kasi ito yung kaso na naglabas sila ng $100,000 pumasok sa customs area ng United States when they landed there, pero nahuli sila. Ang may dala yung dalawang anak ni General Garcia, pinagkatian nila, $50,000 sila para siguro mailusot. Pero nahuli sila ng US Customs Service. Alam niyo kung nasaan na yung mga anak, yung tatlong anak at saka asawa ni General Garcia. Ayon sa balita, nakakulong na rin sa United States and they might be sent back here, extradited here. So ganun ang ginawa namin sa Kongreso. We conduct these investigations and we would like to proudly tell you that we have very positive results in our investigation. So, ito nga, dito sa Committee on Dangerous Drugs, tinanong namin, si Prosecutor Rizado, did you declare that amount in your statement of assets and liabilities? Many of you who will be joining government should know right this very day that that is one of the requirements for all public officials to submit a statement of assets and liabilities. I-enumerate nyo yung sources of income nyo, yung gastos nyo, ano yung mga assets ninyo. When we asked Prosecutor Rizado, sabi nga niya, right to remain silent. But when we looked at his statement of assets and liabilities, wala doon yung kanyang sinasabing lending operations. So yan ang sitwasyon ngayon. It is very unfortunate that we have a Department of Justice and we have a PDEA that are at odds with each other. Kaya naman kami sa Committee on Dangerous Drugs, we in Congress are appealing to both the Department of Justice and the PDEA to work together. We would not want to side with anyone. Both of them are supposed to be doing their work because, believe me, today, the problem of drugs is probably the biggest, if not the biggest problem confronting the country today. Doon nga sa